So I know a lot of people have posted, they've been interested on whether the xTool F1 Ultra Fiber can engrave guns, because that's a pretty popular thing. I went and I looked on the forum, and there's plenty of knives because knives are relatively inexpensive. But I was amazed to see like nobody has done a gun slide yet. So I'm gonna test it on my own. I'm a retired police officer, so I figured, hey, if I'm gonna ruin somebody's gun, why not make it my own gun? So here we go. So here's my goal today. I'm gonna put my name and my badge number, and I started in 1994 and I retired in 2015. I'm gonna put that on my handgun here and see how that comes out. So what I did here, I made a little box around you can't see it, but this is the M&P logo, and I used that box to line everything else up. You can't really use the picture. That's not a great way to go about it. It's better to line stuff up with the outline box. So you'll see here, so I'm gonna start with the little badge icon first. Let's hit the framing button. I'll just show you that. So if you look in there, you'll see a little box around where that's going to go. My goal here is for a pretty deep engraving. When you're doing handguns and things like that, people are looking for, kind of like what you see here, a pretty deep engraving. So we'll see if it can handle it. I'm probably going to have to up the power considerably, but I want to see how it looks just from the start. So my first attempt is going to be at 100% power, 300 lines per centimeter, 80 speed, which might be a little fast for this, but this is just the first pass. So I just want to see, does it look good? And then we'll see about doing probably deeper passes. I have it in a nice vise because I don't want it to move, and I want to be able to keep it in a nice registered spot if I'm happy with everything, but just want to keep making continuous passes on it. Let's see what happens. So here we go. I'm gonna put this in the tripod for you. All right, so we're all set for the first pass. It's only 17 seconds. I think it's going to be probably way too fast for this, but like I said, I'd rather work my way up. So if I end up having to go down, I think it's going to end up needing to be probably around a minute and a half, or maybe even longer to get a nice deep engraving on this slide, but we'll see. So here's pass number one. Here we go. Gonna hit start, and this is going to be just a little outline of a police badge with my old badge number in between. Wow. I don't think that's going to need another pass. I'm going to clean that a little bit and see, but that might be good enough. So that's actually a little softer than I expected. But let's do a little cleaning and see how that engraving is. So I'm just going to grab a little isopropyl alcohol. So I used a 100, I'm usually around 95 power, 90 on knives. And very similar to what you saw here. Yeah, and I mean, that is in there. That's in there good. Yes, I don't even think I'm going to take a second. I don't think I'm going to do a second pass on that. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go on and do my name and dates of service, and then we'll check all that too. But that to me, that looks pretty good. Once again, we were at 100% power, 80 speed, and we were 300 lines per centimeter on that. All right, so I'm going to turn off the little badge icon, and now I'm going to my text. So the height of this is 5mm engraving, and it's just text with names and dates. All right, here we go. Let's see. I think we'll be good. And then when I'm done with this, I'm going to hit it with some Renaissance wax, which is really good to use on firearms and things. So here we go. And I think that was perfect. Yeah, that looks really good. Yep. Just gonna give it a quick feel. Yeah. All right, I'm pulling it out. So let's take a look at it closer. I'll clean it off and then I'll give you a good view of how this came out. I'm feeling a tiny bit of burr. So I'm thinking maybe give it a good cleaning. But I mean, that you can see that engraving's good. I mean, I'm just feeling a little bit of burr, so I want to get that burr off. So I'm going to go over it very, very lightly because I don't want to remove any of the bluing. Yeah, maybe even a Mr. Clean sponge. So I just want to get those burrs out. Maybe a cleaning pass, one of these wouldn't be a bad idea too. Maybe I'll do a couple more fun designs on here. Maybe I'll put a flag or something else on here, but in general, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so one of my favorite things for cleaning out engravings is a Mr. Clean sponge. I find these, I always use them on tumblers, so I'm going to use it also on this gun slide. And sometimes you got to give them a pretty good scrubbing, so you can see all that brown char coming off of that. But I find they do a nice job of not scratching stuff up. And that's feeling pretty good now. All right, let's clean that off. Yeah, that's looking really good. I didn't expect it to pop so much. I thought it was going to be more darker than that, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to continue cleaning it because I think it's going to come up even better. And let me see if I can zoom in there for you. Yeah, it's a little cleaner up, I see, by the top E there. So I think sometimes it's just like a tumbler. So I would say this setting's probably not perfect, but it's probably really close. It's just one of those things that it's hard to test on because nobody's going to want a big test pattern on a slide, or they're going to want to do it on an older firearm that nobody cares about, or something like that would be a good way to go about it. But yeah, I've often found this method works really good for tumblers. So basically, I just keep scrubbing till I'm not seeing brown soot and stuff coming off. And then I'm going to use Renaissance wax on it. You can still see there's still brown soot coming off. There you go. So you can see that looks pretty good. I think it could be even a little brighter if someone wanted it a little bit brighter. It would probably be with maybe a cleaning pass might be a way to go. But in general, I'm happy. I mean, that's a solid engraving that is in there. There's no question about that. That is not just a marking. That is actual engraving, and that's pretty impressive. All right, so let's. I'll show you the product I'm gonna put on it. So when it comes to firearms and knives, especially antique stuff, Renaissance wax. This is the best stuff. This stuff is just awesome. It's used by museums and things all over the world. You don't need a ton, but it will protect this gun and the engraving from rusting Might darken it a little bit, but probably not too much. It's a microcrystalline wax, and they use it for restoring old firearms and things like that. You can just kind of rub it on, and then you're going to buff it off. There's not much to it. Yeah, there we go. So there you go. How about that? Looks pretty cool. All right, so that's a Renaissance wax. That's what I'm going to use to treat things after I engrave them. I just wanted to share that with you, and that was my settings for this. I might play around with it, maybe do another engraving. Thinking a American flag or something on here might be pretty cool, and maybe I'll try a little lighter setting and see what happens. See if I can get a dark engraving. But I mean, that's there. That is well visible. So there you go. So there's the engraving on a gun slide, and that had no issue getting in there. I mean, that is plenty deep. It's as deep as the M&P engraving that's on here. So here's a final look at the finished gun. You can see the engraving came out really nice after I buffed it with the Renaissance wax. Really happy with how that came out. Its visibility, the depth. If you're interested in any of the things you saw in this video, like the Renaissance wax, xTool lasers, I'll leave links in the bottom description of this YouTube video. And have a great day, everybody.